So we're going to be working on this wall here today, and we'll kind of do this as a series, taking you along with us for the various projects that we have, getting this theater room kind of up and going. Hey friends, okay, so here's part 2 of the basement theater room, which is still yet to be named, makeover. And today what we're going to be working on is right behind us, and it is the movie poster decoupage wall. We still have a few other projects to do in here. For example, we're going to be doing the curtains. They're going to go across there. We have to dye those, and I'll do a video on that, and hang those because it's going to be a little wonky. There's different angles. We can't just use curtain rods, so we're going to have to be a little creative with that. And I have a few ideas that I'll share with you. We also still have to paint the ceiling, which it turns out is harder than just painting a ceiling that's like a wall. It's, you know, there's gravity, so paint falls on you. We learned that the hard way. The first part of creating an art piece wall is planning the art piece wall. And we've been actually planning this for a little while now. So we had this cool idea that we would get all the same size posters and we'd put them cleanly up on the wall, depicting some of our favorite movies. And it was just gonna be this one focal point wall. Well, some of the best laid plans, how does that phrase go? The best laid plans start with good intent. I don't know, I'm gonna look it up and I'll come back. I was way off. It's the best laid plans are paved with good intentions. Okay, so my good intentions were all same size. I don't think it's even a phrase that, hi Nico, save me from this. I don't think it's a phrase that actually fits what I'm trying to do, but I had a good intention of making them all the same size. And the moral of this very long story is that I ordered not all the same size. We got excited when we were picking the posters. We're like, oh, I love that movie, when we were finding them. And then when we ordered them, when they would arrive, we got some that were like this one, which is 11 by 14. We got one that's like this one that is an 8 by 10. Like we're like an 8 by 10. I could have printed that out myself on photo paper, because now I have to come up with a different design. So all of this rambling leads up to my point. You have to kind of plan out how you're going to do the wall. Is I've actually done this already. I have mapped out that entire wall. It looks awesome. I was all ready to go, measured stuff out. It took me several hours to do. And by the next morning, all but those 2 posters had fallen down. Painter's tape is designed to not be put up for long term. So, and it's not really designed to hold weight of something. So it all fell down. So my thought is I'm going to use the big posters first. So I'm going to take down these small ones that stayed. I'm going to use big posters first to map out my design. I'm going to use smaller posters to fill in. I'm kind of thinking either kind of a big X or maybe a kind of a Charlie Brown under his t-shirt kind of look, or some sort of plaid, you know, maybe with the diamonds, and then fill in the smaller posters in between. We'll see how that works. Okay, so welcome to my office. We took a break from being in the basement because I wanted a more effective way to plan out how we're going to do the posters. I don't want to tape them up. I was realizing that I was taping them up, and then if I needed to move something, it was crinkling them. And if I had to keep doing that and over and over again over all of the posters, I could damage them. And I didn't want to do that. So I've decided that I'm going to try to channel some of my stepdad and his wise ways and get some graph paper. I don't actually have any graph paper that I can readily find anyway. So what I've decided to do is try to do this online, and let me show you how I'm doing it. So I'm going to start by opening up an Excel file. I'm opening up a blank workbook, and then I'm going to go down here to these buttons right here, the page layout. The page layout gives you a different look of your page. And if you do it this way, you're not going to get those really, really small squares. Let me show you what happens if you do it in the page that it already was in. I'm going to go back. Okay, so this is where it already was. And if we try to change these squares at this point, what's going to happen is you go to, say, I'm going to take these squares here and I'm going to change my column width to 0.25. Look, they made them really, really, really tiny. And that's not really what I want. So let's undo that. Okay, now we have our squares back. Okay, so we are going to go to page layout, click on that, and you get your page like this. You want to make sure, see how this is gray shaded and this is not? We want the entire thing to be gray shaded. So we are going to click on this, and that now shades everything. And that's that little triangle up there. And if we right click, we get the row height, and we want to change that. Let me zoom in to 0.25. Okay, so now we have our height at 0.25. We want to change our width. And so we're going to hit the triangle again. We're going to right click on one of these squares here, and we have our column width at 0.25. And all of them are now changed on all the pages. So now I'm going to go back to this layout here, which is the normal layout that I'm used to looking at. And we have our grid the way we're used to. I know that the largest point, it was 100 inches down, and the widest point was 185 inches across. So going down is easy, right? So if we go down here to 100, there's an easier way to do it, but not one-handed. Okay, so we have it over. Now, the problem is I can go over to 185, but all of these are letters, and then they repeat. They go from A to Z to AA to AZ to BB, or to BA to BZ, and so on. So I don't know how to find 185. Well, Google is king, and I've already done a Google search, and I'll move this over and show you that if you go to Excel, it's right here, Excel column letter to number, or you do a Google search for that, it gives you all of the columns and how they correlate to a column number. So I have scrolled down already, and I discovered that GC is 185. There we go. Okay, so that is my 100 down by 185 across, and I am going to fill this into my blue wall color. All right, so there's my blue wall. Okay, so I need 12 squares. I need 12 inches, right? So I'm going to go here and get 12. And then I need the correct amount over. AK, so that is in the first repeat. I have right here. AK is block 37. So I'm going to bring Excel back over. I'm going to grab my little marker down here. And if you don't know Excel very well, I highly recommend some of the YouTube tutorials. They are awesome. Here to AK. And this, I am going to go up in here, select my fill, and I don't want any fill. I'm not going to make it white. I just don't want to fill it all. Okay, so now I'm going to go back, shrink this up again. Okay, so there is my wall with my cutout. I'm going to insert some shapes. I'm going to insert rectangles. And these rectangles are going to represent my movie posters. Okay, so I do know that I want one to be let's undo that. Let's make this big again because I want to make sure. So we're going to go back and make it big again. because I want to make sure that my measurements are right. Here are all of my poster shapes. Here's my big one, my big Star Wars one that is a standard movie size poster. These are all of my 24 by 36 posters that I have, which are 11 of them. I've got 6 of the 11 by 17, 3 of the 8 by 10, and that one 13 by 19. So now I'm going to try to arrange them on my wall to see if I can't find a cool design or pattern and see if I can't find something that works. I might not be able to use all of these posters that I want to use. So I'm just going to have to see how it works out, and I will show you when I'm done. I have wall speakers that are about right here. And I also have a light switch that I have to take into account. So now they are on the same plane here. This is my light switch. This is my electrical socket there. Okay, so I don't personally think I have a problem with the light switch or the electrical socket. I think I can get creative with that, where I actually cut that section of the poster out and decoupage it on the plastic plate covering that is for the light switch and the electrical socket. I think that would be kind of cool. But I am seeing a problem with this big white speaker right there. And I'm going to have to decide if I want to actually put a poster here, or if I'm wanting to find a poster that might work with the giant speaker right there. Finished it up pretty much. We're still kind of going back and forth on the name of the theater, and I think we're going to be taking a vote. I like the Sapphire Cinema or the Majestic. Andy likes the Majestic. We're going to be kind of voting amongst the family. But I wanted to show you, I was able to do searches in Excel to get the posters and just put them right over, see, they're right over the squares. And then I decided that I wanted to have 2 of the 27 by 41 posters. So I ordered another one. So if we don't go with the name The Majestic, we'll have the poster for the Majestic. If we do go with the name for the Majestic, then we have the poster for the Majestic. That's pretty cool. But I want to show you how I got the posters. So if you go up here to Insert and you go to Online Pictures, then you click Search, and I'm going to do a search for Star Wars, because that's the last poster we need. Star Wars poster. Now we're going to get all of the Star Wars that pop up. The one that we need is this very first one. That's the one. We have all of the posters, but this is the one that we decided we want to put on the wall. It is the OG Star Wars. So I'm going to hit Insert, bring this up. Now, this is too big for my box, but all I need to do is resize it like that. And there we go. And then we will map out the wall, put some lines up on the wall to help set kind of a grid, and I'll know exactly where I need the posters to go. Okay, so there you go. That is the designing of the art piece mural wall that will be in our theater room. If you would like more information on how I created the graph sheet, how I did the dimensions for the posters in order to create the design spreadsheet, please leave comments below, and if I get enough comments, then I will consider doing a more in-depth video on how I created that in Excel. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope it wasn't too boring. It got a little bit technical. But if you're going to do something, you might as well do it right. And I think that planning is a huge part of creativity. I am a big planner in how I'm going to execute a design that I put out. So next, after this, we will be blocking up the wall, and I will show how we're going to tape off the wall so that we have measurements, so that we can then implement the design, and we'll start actually putting up some posters. We haven't gotten all the posters yet, so we're also going to have to plan according to the posters that are missing. We're going to have to tape off some sections where those posters will be. So please join us for the second video, which should be out probably later in the week. Thanks for watching. As always, be brave, be creative, like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.